I'm not sexist, but... So they actually did it. After many have debated the topic up and down, they decided to actually take the risk and do it. And I wish it wasn't such a controversial decision. In an ideal world, a woman could be cast as the Doctor, and it'd be just accepted with no fuss or bother. It'd be completely normalized, treated no different from any other actor. Unfortunately, we don't live in an idealized world. We live in this world where people are just going to judge before they even see her in action. Now that is not to say that every single person that does not like the new Doctor is inherently sexist, not implying that at all. Every new Doctor, when cast, has had its critics in the past, and your reasons may very well be separate from the actress's gender. However, in my personal opinion, it cannot be explicitly stated whether this decision was done as a gimmick to get people talking, whether it's to appeal to a so-called politically correct culture, which the internet has made a habit of shitting on as of late, or whether or not she was chosen because she was genuinely the best person for the role. But I'd feel quite confident in genuinely betting all my money on the belief that it is the latter. But the fact is, I don't know. And the fact is that you don't know. All I know for certain is, over the coming weeks, possibly up until the Christmas special in which Jodie Whittaker will likely first appear, there is going to be non-stop debate and arguing against the two already very conflicting and divisive sides of the ideological battle that has been going on between progressives and self-proclaimed anti-social justice warriors for the past decade or so over the internet. I don't feel that I fit neatly into either camp necessarily, but I can say with absolute certainty that this is a non-issue. People who don't like that the new Doctor is a woman, just because she is a woman, seem to just gloss over the fact that the show has established multiple times that changing genders isn't out of the realm of possibility for Time Lords. It's been done before, particularly in New Who for quite a while now, referenced several times on screen and visualized quite clearly in the most recent seasons. If you don't like the decision because you may feel as if it's preaching extremist progressive values a tad too much for your liking, I hate to tell you, but the show's been pushing progressive values for years now. Some subtle, and some not so subtle. And whether or not that is a good thing or a bad thing completely comes down to subjective individual perspective, regardless of whether you are for or against the decision, or just simply find the whole thing to be silly and inconsequential at the end of the day. I feel this is a good time to just make ourselves some popcorn, scroll through social media, and laugh at the ensuing drama. Remember that change is very inherent to the character. To claim that this move single-handedly ruined the show for you based on little to no information outside of the actress's name and face is plainly ridiculous. We don't know what type of character her version of the Doctor is going to be yet. We don't know how much they'll even play on the angle of her being a woman, although I do imagine that they'll probably make some reference to it, maybe a joke or two. I'm calling it now. There'll inevitably be some kind of meta joke about the reaction to the change in which some on-screen sexist background character gets visually upset by the change and is put in his place or something. Now, the Doctor is going to be the Doctor regardless. The Doctor is an alien that seemingly exists beyond the concepts of gender, sexuality, and race. Now, just to clarify, I do understand that people can have concerns about this decision that are irrelevant to the actress's sex. In the heat of debate, people will acknowledge the sexist assholes that are upfront with their misogynistic comments, but then there are the people who are in the middle, whose reasons for being upset are irrelevant to sex, and whom are not sexist themselves, but will end up being accused of being sexist anyway, for not being immediately on board with this decision. Now, we're not all mind readers. I politely ask that we all talk this out rather than just throwing accusations at each other. Let's not assume that everyone that doesn't agree with this decision is some misogynistic, quote-unquote, dude bro, or some Whovian purist. Personally, I feel it is a step in the right direction, but honestly, the gender of the character should be inconsequential to the character itself. When it comes to writing a good character, personality, motivations, flaws, goals, those should come first. A character's gender, race, sexuality should be second priority. Because as much as I may agree with the decision, I also agree that there have been instances in which diversity in media have been executed poorly. Instances in which non-white, non-straight, or non-male characters were pushed into a story without any real thought or development and bordered on the level of offensive stereotypes, or like they were just there to fill a quota, not to play a significant role in the story. However, I don't feel like that's what this is. Doctor Who has generally been pretty good with their varied representation. At least I think so. Hopefully, that alleviates some of the concerns that people are having about any potential tokenism. And can we please stop using the appeal to tradition fallacy? Just because the Doctor has been male for 50 years, it does not necessitate that they be male for their entire run. I mean, being male isn't really a defining characteristic of the Doctor. Really, one's gender is not the sole defining characteristic of anyone, real or fictional. The Doctor is still going to be the silly, wisecracking, wise, occasionally goofy person who has experienced many different lives and goes around saving people. Now here's a question that I have. If the Doctor is going to go from male to female, does that count as transgender representation, as well as female representation? And what moral obstacles is the show going to have to tackle when writing around such sensitive subject matter? Now, I'm not necessarily saying that's how I view this, but I am wondering if that is a potential topic that could come up in some social circles. As always, this has been Megamitch, and I will catch you later. Let me know if you like these types of topical discussion videos, and I'll probably do some more.